All right, folks, we are back. Thanks for watching the break. People are saying Rifkin trying to show off a gaming mouse. Oh, I'm not trying to show off a gaming mouse. I'm trying to show off a piece of goddamn art. That is the Corsair Glaive. No, I was just people were complaining about the other camera angle, so you guys can either have 15 chins or a mouse cam. I don't know. Either way, it's up to you. I also got to give a casual viewer alert out. Booyo Starcraft in chat. What's up, buddy? How you doing? It says, where's Zombie cats? For those who don't know or maybe haven't been following that closely, rather than shame you, I will just inform you. Zomgrub's in Korea. She's been in Korea for a while. She's going to be in Korea for a while longer. And is without her cats, unfortunately. Although you did go to a cat cafe recently.
Yeah, they had all different types of cats.
I actually
they were pretty cute.
I enjoyed the pictures. Thank you for tweeting them.
Yeah, they had a Munchkin cat, which is always funny, and they also had a Russian Grey and a Bengal. But they had this one cat that was my favorite. He was just like a domestic short hair, but apparently he was a rescued cat from Busan, and he had like a little messed up eye that was blind. And he was like getting fed all the time, and he was the most aggressive feeder, but it was so cute. Okay.
All right, well, we're getting a game number 1. It's the winner's match of the Corsair Cup Group A for the off-season, a.k.a. Season 6. Spawning in the lower left, we have the blue Zerg. It's, of course, none other than Nerchio.
It's uprights. Oh, hey. It's the red Zerg, Liquid Snute.
And for those who don't know, we talked about mentioning the prize pool earlier, but rather than host a bunch of little weeklies in the monthly finals, we've combined all of it. So this is with the addition of Twitch powering it up, as well as Corsair Cup being sponsored primarily by Corsair. There's $700 in total prizing, $300 for first place, $150 for second, and $90 each for third and fourth. So just by simply getting out of the group alive, these guys are getting a pretty decent chunk of change. However, most of the money lies in those top 2 slots that you'll earn through the playoffs. Now, those who are really keen on math as well as listening skills will be like, but Rifkin, that doesn't quite add up to $700. What are you trying to pull here? Well, again, we've got a mega tax on everything we're doing, and you guys want to learn more about that, you can check out the patch notes we've got posted up on our Twitter and a Google document available to everybody and anybody out there. Also, speaking of Booyo Starcraft, thank you for the 8-month resub, and then Joe Wibb just now with the Twitch Prime sub. We also had old Jimmy hit us up during the break, getting into these winter bracket finals. Happy birthday! Oh, that's right, I read that earlier. Never mind. It's not my birthday. It's next month's my birthday.
The rare double shout out from the same person.
Right? Happens almost never.
All right, well, Snute did open up with an early pool with gas, but not Banelings, just for that speed, which is a little bit of a change-up. He gets on top of that hatchery, even though Nerchio went for a pool first, it was still later, and as such has to cancel the hatchery, no attempt to save it. He isn't quite sure if this is speed follow-up or Baneling follow-up. In fact, he didn't even scout the hatchery is down. I feel like this is a misclick. Usually you do want to see if that's down or not, and
maybe he's made the misassumption that it wasn't.
Right. But it's always so weird, though, to see any assumption-based, like, because what else is the Overlord really doing, I guess? You know? Is it really scared of queens that come walking down? Like, you know their queen would be in the main base, not in the natural. So I don't know. That's really weird, and it's really unfortunate, too, because Nerchio, maybe if he saw it, would have tried to save the hatchery. Maybe he didn't make that spine crawler, because now he's realizing there's no more lings on the way. There's no banelings on the way. That was just for speed, and now I'm a complete hatchery behind.
What a silly Billy he's been. Actually, that is... I don't want to make light of it. That is actually kind of a mistake, and a lot of that does come down to the scouting. So it's a good thing for you to know, because I wouldn't have caught that otherwise. And Snoot's got to be feeling pretty dandy right now. I think everyone who plays against Nerchio always has a bit of a chip on their shoulder regarding Nerchio. And he is just objectively a good enough player for Snoot to be worried about. So getting any kind of lead, that's going to be really appreciated in this matchup for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be clear, like, if Nerchio tried to save that hatchery, it could have failed, and that actually could have maybe, like, lost in the game. You pull the drones, and you lose 10, and the hatchery dies, but since Snute really was not reinforcing, I don't think that would have been the case. So good start for Snute. Just has to make sure to keep it, and I think that he will. He is getting a Baneling nest. He has an appropriate amount of lings to defend. We'll supply blocks right now. That's a oopsie-daisy. That's it. with the Banelings, this third base, like, sure, it's coming down as Nerchio's natural finishes, but he doesn't really have to drone that. He could make 30 lings and just try and keep Nerchio off of third base as well. Or make a Roachborn.
I have to ruin the viewing experience really quick and just put the camera on you for a moment.
Okay.
Real quick.
Well, like I said, he could have made like 30 lings here and denied the third base probably over and over again if he really wanted to commit some Baneling aggression too, as Nerchio would really only have his ling control and queen focus fire, which, you know, shouldn't be underestimated to help against that. But instead of taking that aggressive path, goes for just drones and a Roach Warren. And what I assume is going to be +1 missile from the Evolution Nibber. There we go. So could still be like attacking with roaches at any given time. Like I think he knows he has a lead here, but not looking to push the advantage into a win soon. Nerchio going to go the tech path. Actually gets us around on queens. Nicely done, but only gets one of them. No, he'll get the second one too. Banelings are extremely helpful, but that was a good surround, so these ones barely survive. But yeah, Nerchio going for the quicker lair, the tech path. I mean, that could have been for a Spire to change things up, but it would have been quite a late Spire when Snute already has the potential to make an army and kill him for it. So just the faster Roach speed in a Roach game. With Snute still not adding on a layer, it's like getting a little suspicious if he's gonna all in here. Maybe this is the last round of drones and nothing but roaches from here on out. His lings and into the naturals, so the transfer of drones to the third base. See, the Roachborn still isn't quite done, and he is continuing to make roaches. Gonna need a few more overlords.
In a very funny way too. Kept them away from the lings.
Yeah. Snute is gonna get supply blocks. Roach is very supply heavy. Didn't quite take into consideration, but besides that, he is a very strong position. Nerchio just made 13 drones. That might have killed him, but the game already started off poor for him, so either way.
Thank you for that covering, by the way. I spilled some water. I had to go clean up really quick.
Very calmly done.
Yeah.
Usually you curse a lot.
Because it didn't hit any of the electronics for once. It was simply on my shirt. So you're kind of like...
Okay.
But yeah, the attack coming out of Snute's going to be unstoppable. I mean, Nerchio could have even like 5 spine crawlers down, and that wouldn't cut it. Like, there's another way into the base, right? So, this is... it's going to be Nerchio's best attempt to hold, but Snute's got so many roaches on the way, I can't really see a way that this should go poorly for him.
Yeah, almost doubling the army supply. His +1 is already finished. Who cares about roach speed? I think he just takes a win in this game. Nice start. Nice follow-up.
I love that Nerchio unburrowed the spine crawler to move it elsewhere, but it takes so long to reburrow, he just couldn't actually get that down to fight again. Snute's also microing the low roaches to become the cocoons to the Ravagers, so this is being handled absolutely as well as he needs it to be. Kills all the reinforcements with that corrosive ball too. Base is gonna die. Doesn't even need to kill this. He can just push in, kill the army, and win.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there's not actually a chance here for Nerchio. Even as his +1 finishes up, still Snute almost doubling the army supply. Falling behind a little bit now, as he does have a lair and drones on the way. But he could end the game. Should end the game.
I think
Nerchio hasn't tapped out.
Yeah, drones are starting to go down too. There's the tap out. And of course, Nerchio does not throw down the Gs. Really does. In fact, it's almost more BM when Nerchio GGs, I feel, because usually it's in like a sarcastic manner or like a nice Protoss manner.
Nice phrase manner.
Yeah. So take it for what it is. Oh god, I'm not gonna say this name correctly. Effie E1 Jeffy. E1 Hefe. One of those three I'm hoping is close to the correct pronunciation of the name, but thank you for the Twitch Prime sub. Welcome to the Base Trade Brigade. Again, all subscribers will be getting replay packs from today after the cast is done, as we tend to do. It is one of the awesome benefits to being a BaseTradeTV subscriber.
Nerchio checking the replay. I'm gonna guess because of the early game, not the roach attack.
I think he's gonna be just like, oh, I did. Like he'll realize very quickly he didn't send his Overlord in far enough, and then be convinced like, oh, okay.
That might have just been a shift click issue. When I think about it. I mean, I said it was a misclick, so maybe it was like hotkeyed, and then he tried to do something else. But it also might have been shift clicked, but not far enough, which would be just a weird mistake. I feel like that would be one of the things that's just so deeply ingrained, because it's been a while since the new map pool has been out. But here he comes now. There we go. Okay.
I'll hop in again for Proxima Station. I know I confirmed this with Zombie Grip. She said it's not so bad. I'm just hoping it's not getting worse over time. But if you guys are hearing some random noises in the background, it's because there is construction going, and I had to leave my door open. The drama of living in this place. It was so nice. There's nothing wrong with this place at all until like the landlord started lying about the AC, and now I'm like super tilted about it.
Well, landlord lying in general, not a great sign.
Well, I don't even feel like it was lying necessarily. Like, it wasn't a bold face like, no, it's working. It's more of like, we don't know the answers, so we're just going to tell you it's working because that'll make you feel more safe or more happy or some shit like that, you know? Like,
okay, like, I won't tell you the locks are broken because they could work, you know? But if they knock the door down, then you're just screwed.
Yeah. All right, well, folks, it's, of course, game number 2 in the winner's match. Spawning here in the top right. He's up 1-0 and probably feeling great after that first game. None other than Liquid Snute, who I'm going to give a special extra bump to because he's been streaming a lot lately.
Very cool. In the bottom left, as the blue Zerg, it's a Nerchio.
Now, this is interesting. We got Booyo StarCraft in chat saying, show post-game build orders. Is that actually something people would want to see? I mean, that's actually not something difficult for us to do. It's just a matter of setting up a screen region to look at it. But I don't know. Usually analysis doesn't fall to the build orders, and very rarely, I think, are there even build order wins at this point in the game. So for us, like, for the most part, that's like where being a sub comes in handy. You get the replay packs firsthand. You can look at them yourself. But
yeah, I found that an odd request. As someone who, like...
It's the first time we've ever got that request, I think.
Yeah, who likes replay packs. So obviously, I think it's like that should be the best thing. But I know for a lot of people that isn't actually that much of a perk. I can see a lot of reason for X, Y, or Z. But I feel like if you're asking because maybe you missed the beginning of the game, there still is so much important context that the build orders like itself still wouldn't give you. Like a pro gamer looks at a build order, it's because they just played the game and they know the context, and that's a very important page for them. But
you can just access the VOD even while the stream's live. You'll rewind like 3
yeah
minutes or something.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird. I mean, the graphs maybe, but we have the graphs in game now. So.
Again, I don't really have an issue with it though, because it doesn't take much effort for us to do. So if it's something people would really like to see, and we saw the request enough times, I'd be totally cool to accommodate it. But yeah, that is like I think the first time we've received that request, and it's an interesting one. There's a lot more I wish we could show in game about a lot of other things too. There's that weird list here that we discovered recently. It's supposed to be the score, but for some reason when you press it, it gives you all these extra weird stats. Where like you can see like values of things, total workers lost, like regular stats, but then it gets into really weird ones like minerals spent specifically, gas spent specifically, like.
It's not so funny that like I always knew that was there, as like I had to always put on to see which observer I was following, and I just never really thought it'd be that helpful. I was just like, there's little stats. All right then.
We've talked about this with Terran before, but I didn't realize they actually had a tab for it, where it shows friendly fire damage done and resources lost through friendly fire.
Yeah. It's every single stat you could ever think of.
See, this, by the way, that's a graph I would love to see. When you're casting disruptors in PvP, Terran in general, like a friendly fire graph would be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you guys ever go through the replay, again, it's up here on the top. You can see it yourselves. Hide that for now, though, because it's taking up too much of the screen.
Well, on Proxima, they both went for 3 bases pretty quickly. Roachwarren quicker for Snute, although I think Nerchio is going to go along the same path. Both usually Roach players to begin with, but then on top of that, when it gets to this, like, okay, no rush, X minutes, that's usually the path. There are some trick builds, later speed with upgrades, mass speedlings off of 3 bases. Like that's cool, but not what either one has in mind. As Nerchio gets a +1 missile, just doesn't have a Roachwarren yet.
Actually, going back on that note too, because you brought up the Evo Chamber last game. I don't really get so hyped for the upgrades when it comes to Roach versus Roach or otherwise, but I loved and I love that both of these guys are actually so willing to do out there things. In terms of like, you'll see them play macro, and you won't see Snute and Nerchio do anything too crazy most of the time, but they're both players who have been willing to do experimental drops or like weird Roach Warren timings, or excuse me, Roach upgrade timings. So I don't know. Like, I was kind of, part of me was hoping, like, Nerchio knew he was behind from the opening, and you'd see some sort of weird drop trying to make up for it, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, he has been the one that, I think he was the first one that I saw do the Hydra drops against Protoss. So many Hydra drops.
Mass Hydra drop was cool.
Still kind of the only one who does it consistently. People have tried, but wow, that's a super early fourth. Man, at the gold.
Yeah, this is, okay, so this is, for me, it's like 50-50 out of Snute, right? Part of me kind of thinks he's baiting with this, but the other part of me also says, like, well, this may be a bait. If Nerchio doesn't fall for the bait, then Snute's like, cool, I got a gold base.
Well, with such similar build orders, although they don't quite know that, which is kind of the shocking part. Oh my god.
He's also going to go for the gold base.
Wow. All right, well, seeing the drone, I guess, tells Snute that it is really almost the exact same build order. Like, the layer timings are different, but still result in the same roach speed upgrade, basically. Then, okay, yeah, that's perfectly safe. They're just both going to get maxed out on roaches and see who has a bit better control.
Oh. It's a creep highway. We haven't seen one of these in a while.
Usually only made when they plan on being aggressive, especially like in a different matchup too. Because ZvZ, while I still think that having the vision is a big plus, the actual creep spread itself can be a detriment if you're trying to retreat or something like that. So
yeah, this is not a fight for Snute to take. He doesn't have the upgrades yet.
He does have 20 army supply, but that would be hard to tell. He has no overseers over the army. Neither of them do, not yet.
I like falling back. I think it's a much smarter choice. Nerchio making Sonic the Hedgehog.
There you go. A very bulky Sonic the Hedgehog.
I just wish their feet were red. That'd be so perfect. Nice
clean up overlords. It's the way things go. I'd be waiting for the max out, really. They might add on a tech. Hydra, Baneling. Well, Baneling isn't really used that much anymore, but Hydra, Infestors, something like that. But they also might just get maxed out in attack.
I'm still really big fan of the Infestor add-on. I think, like, just being able to grab units and hold them in place, like, so nobody can retreat, I think is so powerful.
Yeah. It sounds like a better option. Sometimes I still see people go for Hydras over the Infestors. The attack is commenced as they got closer to maxing out, but Snute taking a bit of a supply lead initially.
He's got numbers, and that's going to start compiling here pretty quickly. Nerchio losing out a lot of the roaches on the front line, and Snute...
Oh, that's turning into a slaughter.
Yeah, it's almost doubling the roach count now. This was a couple ahead, and now massively ahead, and someone out there, I'm sure, is thinking, well, defender's advantage, Rifkin, and yeah, the Spine Core is going to help out a little bit. It barely survives the Corrosive Bile somehow, but Snute's been microing the roaches. This is a small detail, but every time you watch him select small cores from them, he's splitting their damage, so they're not like 14 roaches wasting a shot on one roach. Like, there's actually been some incredible micro from Snute in this battle.
Well, that's going to be game.
It's gotta be, right?
Recovery
like, the
here.
snowball's a little bit too much.
Yeah, the momentum's fantastic. I think Nerchio is going to have +2 a little bit sooner, but even that's seconds, and that won't make up for 60 army supply.
No, of course, Snute's getting away with the gold base while this goes on as well, so... You know, Nerchio, who can't mine off of this, yeah, just taps out, and Snute will take first place in the group with a 2-0.
2-0, easy peasy.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner. All right, this now leads us to the final series of the day then. One last best of 3 in a shorter but sweet Corsair Cup group stage. Optimus versus Nerchio. Now, this will be the first time these two played because it was Snute versus Optimus the first time, but Snute getting out of the group guarantees him into the playoffs. Top 4, that's awesome to see. And, of course, if you guys don't know, the other group that's going to be playing is some pretty awesome players, too. I had, of course, invited Neeb, but he had to decline because he was moving back to Korea, which kind of sucks. But instead, Mana took his place. So Mana, Bly, Alive, and Showtime are the other group players that will be playing on June 23rd. Now, I know that's like a long time away, and some of you may be wondering, like, why are this so far apart? And that's because we are going to be traveling to Toronto this coming weekend. Well, in fact, we're traveling in a couple days to host a tournament that's going on this weekend over in Toronto. Gameland Invitational, North by Northeast. It's going to be good times, but it will take like a week out of our lives, so we won't be able to keep the Corsair Cups running so consistently through it. That being said, however, we're going to go to a small commercial break, folks. Nerchio and Optimus have got to do their vetoes, and hopefully they'll be done by the time we're back. Thank you for watching the Corsair Cup. Check out all of their information down below the stream. Click on those links, buy their gear, all that good stuff, and we'll see you guys soon.